a review for your quiz on solving systems of equations, which I'm going to be giving on Friday, November 20th. Okay, so the first question will have you create a system of equations. Okay, so just create a system of equations from a scenario. Tim and Ted are shopping for clothing. Tim bought 3 ties and 2 shirts for $36. Ted bought 1 tie and 4 shirts for $48. Write a system of equations to represent this scenario. So we have 3 ties and 2 shirts. Sorry about that. 3 ties, 2 shirts, $36. We have 1 tie and 4 shirt for $48. So you're going to write 3 times T for the cost of the ties plus 2 shirts times S for the cost of a shirt is equal to 36. And that is a system of equations for Tim's purchases where our variables represent the price of each item. Then we want to write a system for Ted. Ted bought 1 tie, so we could just write T, the cost of 1 tie. We don't have to multiply it by 1 because we understand that we just have 1 T there, right? And then 4 shirts, so 4 times the cost of the shirt, and his total was 48. Okay, so in my non-honors class, that's all you have to do. You're just going to have to choose the correct system. In my honors classes, I'll expect you to also solve for one of the variables, which in this case, I would think you would use elimination because this lends itself to elimination because they're both in standard form. Of course, if you wanted to do substitution, you could also do that. You would have to just first solve for T, and then you'd be able to make a substitution. Okay. You'll have 2 other questions on the test, on the quiz, I'm sorry, it's a quiz tomorrow. One of them will be a question that I would think you would use substitution for. One would be a question that I would think you use elimination for. So for this question, 2x minus 3y equals 2 and y equals 4x minus 14, I would assume that you would want to do a substitution because you have y solved for 4x minus 14. So if you have something equal to y, it would make sense to me that you would want to substitute that into the other equation. So I'm going to go ahead and do the substitution. So here I'm rewriting the equation using the substitution. So 2x minus 3 times 4x minus 14 equals 2. And now that I did the substitution, all I have is x, so I could go ahead and solve that equation for x, and I'll distribute the negative 3. Negative 3 times 4x is negative 12x. Negative 3 times negative 14 is positive 42. So now I have 2x minus 12x plus 42 equals 2. I'll continue to simplify. 2x and negative 12x is negative 10x. Negative 10x plus 42 equals 2. I'll subtract 42. On each side, I have negative 10x equals negative 40. Divide by negative 10. And x is equal to positive 4. Now you know that I'm not finished after I solved for x because I'm looking for a solution to a system. I need the x and the y. So now I'm going to go ahead and solve for y right here. Okay, so I have y equals 4x minus 14. That was one of my equations. I know that x is 4, so I'm going to substitute instead of x. I'm going to write 4. So I have y equals 4 times 4, which is 16 minus 14, and y is equal to 2. So my solution is 4, 2. And of course, if you wanted to verify that you got that right, you would go back to the original equation, 2x minus 3y equals 2, substitute in 4 for x and 2 for y, and make sure that you get something that is a true statement. Okay, last question we're going to do here. This question is one that I would assume most of you would like to use elimination for. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and show it to you with elimination. Obviously, you're allowed to choose whichever method you would like to use, and you should get the same answer, whatever you do, as long as you do the steps correctly. So we're solving the system of equation. We're trying to find the x and y values that are the same for both equations. So looking at this equation, I want to use elimination. I want to get rid of one of the variables. In order to get rid of one of the variables, I need to have a zero pair. I need to have the same amount of positive and negative of the same variable, just in the two different equations, right? So if I have 2x in the first one, I see that if I multiply the second one by -2, I'll have -2x. -2x in the second equation, positive 2x in the first equation will be my zero pair, so I'll eliminate x. So let me rewrite this by multiplying by -2. So I have -2x plus 8y equals -12, and I will just keep the top equation. Because if I only had to do one multiplication, I already got a zero pair. No reason to do extra work and multiply both equations, right? I just need to multiply one. So here I have 2x plus 5y is equal to 12. And now I'm ready to combine my equations and eliminate a variable. 2x and -2x is 0. 5y and 8y is 13y. 12 and -12 is 0. So I see that y is equal to 0. It doesn't really matter what I'm dividing by. If I'm 0 divided by anything, it's going to be 0. So y is 0. And of course, I have one more step to solve for x. So I can choose either equation. Second equation looks simpler here. X minus 4y equals 6. And y is going to be 0. Sorry, I didn't get my pen. Here we go. Nope, having trouble getting that pen back. 0 it is. Okay, so we put 0 in for y. Now we have x minus 0 is 6. X is equal to 6. That's all 0, right? So x is equal to 6. We got our solution, 6, 0. Okay, of course, as always, if you have any questions, you're welcome to email me. I'll be happy to help you. I will be doing a little more review in school for this quiz tomorrow. Depending on which class you are in is how much review we'll be doing. So I hope that you feel prepared, and otherwise, feel free to reach out to me, email me. I'll be happy to help you. Have a great day.